This video will take you through the setup of the Fluval FX5 Canister Filter. Prior to beginning installation, read and follow all safety instructions. To begin, make sure you have all the parts. The diagram and list on the inside front cover of the instruction book identifies each one. Hosing, 2 rim connectors, 6 rim connector clips, 4 suction cups, 2 metal clamps, 3 aqua stop valves, the output nozzle, the intake assembly, and the filter canister itself. Inside is the stack of media baskets. Allow yourself about 45 to 60 minutes to set up and start your filter. You'll need a flathead screwdriver and a utility knife. And if your aquarium is unusually shallow, you may also need a hacksaw so you can cut the intake tube. Do not plug the filter in until setup is complete and the unit is filled with the required amount of water. Otherwise, the pump could be damaged. Your first step in setup is to decide where to place your filter. Remember, this is a gravity-fed system. For it to work properly, you must follow these 5 guidelines. Number 1. The filter lid must be at least 7.8 inches or 20 centimeters below your aquarium's water level, but never more than 4.9 feet or 1.5 meters. Number 2. The hosing supplied with your filter is 9.8 feet or 3 meters long. If longer hosing is required, the intake hosing must not exceed 9.8 feet or 3 meters, and the total length of intake and output hosing combined must not exceed 16.4 feet or 5 meters. Number 3. Hosing must follow a straight path from the aquarium to the rim, with some slack, but no kinks or loops. Number 4. The water level in your aquarium should never be more than 7.8 inches or 20 centimeters below the rim. Number 5. Never install a filter above the water level. For best performance, the filter should be completely beneath the aquarium. Plus, be sure to position the purge valve so you'll be able to attach a hose without having to move the canister. Once you know where you're going to place the canister, you can begin to prepare your aquarium. Place the 2 rim connectors over the back edge of your aquarium, one just above the spot where you want to position the intake tube. Make sure the intake tube is not going to be positioned close to an air source, like an air stone, aeration device, or a CO2 unit. Air entering the intake strainer will diminish filter efficiency. Place the other rim connector just above the spot where you're planning to position the output nozzle. Be sure the longer section of each rim connector is on the inside of the aquarium. The rubber rings on the connectors help them adhere to the glass. For additional stability, use the suction cups. Now you're ready to prepare the intake connections. Loosen one of the metal clamps and slide it onto one end of the hosing. Push the end of the hosing onto one of the aqua stop valves. Push it all the way as far as it will go. Position the metal clamp over the rubber connector and tighten. You're going to need a length of hosing that will reach from the filter canister's final position to a spot about 6 inches or 15 centimeters beyond the aquarium rim. So place the aquastop end of the hosing at the approximate spot where it will be positioned on the filter lid once the filter is installed. Stretch out the hosing so it rests over the intake rim connector. And at a spot about 6 inches or 15 centimeters beyond the aquarium rim, cut the hosing. Push the cut end of the intake hosing into the rubber connector on the intake tube. Push it in by at least 1 inch or 2.5 centimeters without twisting it. Now place the whole intake assembly in the tank. Make sure the bottom of the strainer is at least 3 inches or 7.5 centimeters from the gravel at the bottom of the tank. Please keep in mind that the spot where the hosing connects with the intake tube should be underwater. This is important. Being submerged is what keeps this connection watertight. If the tube is too long for the height of your tank, remove the strainer from the assembly, cut the tube, and put the strainer back on the tube. Once you have the intake assembly properly positioned, press the suction cups against the glass to secure it in place. Fasten the hosing to the rim connector using 3 rim connector clips. Push them down until they click to lock the hosing in place. The remaining length of hosing will be used for output. Connect it to an aqua stop valve just as you did with the intake hosing. Loosen the metal clamp and slide it onto the factory finished end of the hosing, not the cut end. Push the end of the hosing onto the valve. Push it as far as it will go. Position the metal clamp over the rubber connector and tighten it. Then measure and cut the hosing just as you did for the intake connection. Place the aqua stop end of the hosing at the approximate spot where it will be positioned on the filter lid once the filter is installed. Stretch out the hosing so it rests over the output rim connector assembly. And at a spot about 6 inches or 15 centimeters beyond the aquarium rim, cut the hosing. Push the cut end into the opening at the top of the output nozzle. Be sure to push it in by at least 1 inch or 2.5 centimeters without twisting the hosing. Again, the spot where the hosing meets the nozzle should be kept underwater for the connection to be watertight. So place the output nozzle in the tank about 3 inches or 7.5 centimeters below the water line. Fasten the hosing to the rim connector using 3 rim connector clips. Push them down until they click to lock the hosing in place. And your hosing connections are complete. Next, we will begin the canister assembly. To open the canister, loosen and disengage the 8 lid fasteners. Using the T-handles, lift out the 3 media baskets. Rinse the baskets and the foam inserts under running tap water to remove any dust particles. Replace the foam inserts and fill the center of each basket with filter media of your choosing. Remember to rinse all new media under running water to remove any dust or debris. Leave at least 1/2 inch or 1 centimeter of free space on top of the media so the baskets will fit together properly. Then stack the baskets, aligning them so all shapes match. Reinsert the T-handles into their slots and use them to slide the baskets back into the canister. The foam in the upper basket should be just about even with the top edge of the canister. And the output tube should protrude slightly. Place the filter in its final position. Pour 2 gallons or 8 liters of water into the canister. Using the correct amount of water is necessary for the system to start up properly. Now put the filter lid back on the canister. It will only go on one way. Press gently until the output tube is firmly seated in the out connection on the lid.